Caroline, I have something to show you.
Let me see it.
I got some merch, okay? Finally came in the mail yesterday. I'm very excited about it. This is no surprise to you, really, because you were the one who showed me this thing. Check it out. SNL 50 on the front. Every episode ticket lineup on the back.
Nice.
Wow.
It's very, very fun.
That's so cool.
Again, you're the one who showed me this, and I was like, I happened to be in the area the night that you sent it to me. More on that later, but I had to get it, and it is beautiful. This is it, folks. The reason we all gathered here was season 50, and it's complete, as evidenced by the new T-shirt. So here we are. It's the Corkboard Chronicle. That's Caroline Morrison. Caroline, how you doing?
I am good. The weather by me is finally not bad. So it's been nice and sunny and it stopped raining. So I've been in a good mood.
I'm still waiting on that update. Luckily, I did flee to Florida for the long weekend. Sat on a beach with all of our mutual friend Calvin Crockett, and just roasted the day away. It was fantastic. But it's been raining for like 4 straight days. So what can you do? Caroline, we're making history. This SNL 50 might be over in its entirety. We're done. Yet you and I continue to make history on this show. What's one thing that we've never had on this podcast?
We have never had a guest.
We've never had viewers. But also, you're absolutely right.
Well, that too.
You're absolutely right. We've never had a guest. But guess what? That changes today. Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Konieczny. See, you guys can't see this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to edit like a clip of like the SNL stage door opening and then her video flying out of the door, and then that's going to be your entrance. I have to explain it in words because it's a video effect. Kate!
That's how I always enter.
Kate, how you doing?
Yes. I'm good.
This is a lovely treat to have you. I'm wondering, did you ever do mine and Meryl's Instagram live show?
Waiting for Jerry Trainer?
Yeah.
Yes.
You were a guest on that?
I think once.
Okay. I
once.
think that means that you are the only person ever to appear on all 4 of my dumbass projects. You did Waiting. You did Waiting for Jerry.
Yeah.
You did Fake Jeopardy twice. You did Waiting for Sherry O'Terry.
Yep.
Yeah, you did do that. You did that several times. You were also our only viewer. Yep. And then
I loved it. It was like literally my favorite.
Every time we addressed the audience, Caroline, some people say like chat or guys. We just said Kate. We just always addressed Kate. And now you're appearing on this. I mean, this, again, more history happening right now, May 29th, 2025.
Yeah. Who would have thought?
We'll get you a plaque.
Oh my gosh, can't wait.
Anyway, Kate, look, we haven't had another perspective. It's been me and Caroline screaming at each other all year.
The same opinions.
Just echo chamber, not ever leaving these walls. What do you think? We've seen all 21 episodes, 22 if you count the special, that this 50th season has had to offer. What did you think overall?
Okay, I have to be honest. I didn't watch every single episode this season.
Well, thanks for coming, Kate. It's great to see you again. I hope the plaque was worth it. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just never committed to sitting down for full episodes. And so what I was mostly doing, which is terrible, because it's only 50 minutes, honestly. But I watched a lot of the clips that I was seeing on YouTube and Instagram. And overall, I liked it. Yeah. I think it was a well-rounded season. I think it had a good mix of fresh talent and bringing back kind of more classics.
For sure.
I love anytime there's a John Hamm moment there. I think he's just the funniest human. So I felt satisfied. The one episode that I watched in completion, start to finish, was like the anniversary episode. That was like 3 hours. So I really committed for that one. I liked it. It was good.
Yeah,
It's silly.
You had to. A night 50 years in the making, right? That's how they build it.
Yeah.
Just incredible moment. Yeah, like the picture's now, complete, and I would say for the most part, it was just a big season by its nature. It was an election year. It was like, back to the Trump era. Sorry, it felt like everything was about to wrap up, and here's the twist: it didn't. Do we want to get into this now, or should I wait? Because here's the deal: is we pride ourselves on looking forward. Like, that's the point of this podcast. We're looking forward more than we're recapping. Lord knows we haven't recapped in 6 months at least. But the strange position we're in right now is that we have no news to provide. Caroline and I kind of thought that we would be sitting here on this particular episode going like, can you believe the 9 people that just like sailed out the door? And not only was there no goodbye, no departure, there's been no news since the 2 weeks since the last episode. Very strange moment. And again, kind of like the first episode where they dropped 5 on us at once, even though Caroline and I had planned to do maybe once every 2 weeks or so. It feels targeted. It feels personal.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, like what gives, panel? What gives?
What's happening here?
I know.
I can't decide if it's a sign that people aren't leaving or if they're still deciding.
Yeah.
Or if it is truly like, oh, we'll just wait and we'll just tell everyone in August the big long list of people.
Right. That I could see them doing that. The only problem is there's 4 people that I don't see the show letting go. Not letting go in the sense of firing, but I don't think they let the following people out of the building without like a huge goodbye. Kenan Thompson, Colin Jost, Michael Che, and Bowen Yang. I don't think those 4 people get to go without at least a solo shot in the goodnights, like at the bare minimum.
Yeah.
And nobody really got that. I mean, there's speculation about Bowen Yang hugging Sarah Sherman, God forbid. Have you heard about this, Kate? Yeah.
No.
Oh, there's like, everyone's all up in arms because in the goodnights, there's a shot, they took a shot of Bowen and Sarah sharing like a long hug as the credits are rolling. Twitter is in a firestorm because they're saying, there it is. That's the proof that Bowen Yang isn't returning for season 51.
That's a stretch.
Yeah.
That's like his literal, my perception is that that's like his best friend from the show. So I feel like the ups and the downs, they're going through it together. So it's probably more of like a, can't believe we made it.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. My first reaction to all that was like, you never like held your high school friends a little closer on the last day of school because you weren't going to see them in the same way for the next 3 months. Like, that's all that's being exhibited here,
Yeah.
But Caroline and I talk plenty about the stands.
The stands.
And how, boy, they will read into something if you give them a little bit of air.
I feel like they're trying to do like the Taylor Swift thing, but they're like really unsuccessful instead.
They really are.
There could be a lot of crossover here. There hasn't been a lot of Taylor Swift news, so they flocked to SNL.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it just very bizarre limbo moment we find ourselves in. I could see everyone outside of that list. I could see announcing a departure in complete silence. But the one thing I take issue with is the attitude from the stands. Sorry, that like it's the show's fault if that ends up happening. I don't really think so for everyone. Like,
Yeah.
Agreed.
some people may get Chloe troasted. All right, that's
Mhm.
the name of the game. Sadly, we mourn Chloe Trost every week on this podcast.
She was so good.
Oh, she was fantastic. I was so excited, and then there you go.
Yeah.
But like, Heidi Gardner is not one who's going to get pushed out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
yeah.
I think we can rest easy that even if they don't get their send off, people like Heidi Gardner, people like Mikey Day, even Andrew Dismukes, they're not going to be leaving on their own. Fun fact, something that the SNL, what do they call themselves? SNL Network or something like that. They do a lot of like stat keeping for SNL. They have named who landed the most screen time on season 50. If you would like to guess, would anyone like to submit a guess on which cast member had that honor this time around?
I saw the tweet,
I figured Caroline saw it.
I know who it is.
Mine and Caroline's Twitter feed is like
beat
for beat exactly the same.
It's just sending each other tweets so the other person's like, I just saw that.
Yeah. Truly an echo chamber everywhere.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I feel like was it like, I feel like someone we're not expecting. Well, I guess maybe like Chloe Fineman, I could kind of see it being because she's always doing impersonations.
Right.
But like maybe it was Heidi Gardner. I don't know. She's versatile.
It was Dismukes. It was Andrew Dismukes.
Really?
Yeah. Which surprised me greatly. But I mean, he was all over the season. I mean, he sang an entire ukulele cover of Hey Soul Sister. That's got to count for something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was him. I was kind of surprised by that. You know, another fun fact, now that you bring up Chloe Fineman, she did not appear. She's the only cast member to not appear on Weekend Update all season.
Really?
She didn't land a Weekend Update commentary. And then I think someone found out that there was something that was cut from the Scarlett Johansson show. So she would have just barely made it in. And ultimately, like, she was the only one. Very weird. Very weird. The stands have a lot to say about Chloe Fineman, too. Don't know what's going on there.
I'm sure they do.
But anyway, here's the deal, folks. It's story time. And this is ultimately why Kate is here, because she has achieved something that neither Caroline or I managed to do this year. And so I'd like to, if you will indulge, I want to go ahead and get my story out there on the record. I participated in SNL's standby line process for the season finale, Scarlett Johansson and Bad Bunny. I don't want to give too much away about the end of the story, but I am going to go ahead and launch our coverage of my experience on the standby line in what we're calling Heartbreak, a Corkboard Chronicle exclusive. So Caroline and I, we had everything worked out. It was to a T. We had such a good plan. I had 2 computers going, and Caroline had one. We put both of my computers on dress rehearsal, and then Caroline was going to do the live show. Okay. Turns out 2 computers doesn't really help you in this scenario, because they tell you in the standby line process that they will only take your latest reservation. So you can't really beat your own record, and it's not random. It's like by time, even though the time is like that. It's minuscule. It's insane. So Caroline, what was take me your perspective on trying to secure these 2 tickets?
I was fully in my office. I was trying to get my boss to stop talking to me so that I was
Give
like,
me a
it was
second.
like 8:58. I was like, okay, I gotta go return an email. And I sat down, I had my phone, I copied my email so I wouldn't have to waste time typing it.
That's
smart.
huge.
And so that I could autofill all the way down.
Right.
And then right when it opened, I refreshed the page and the live show option wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Oh
panicked and
my
I hit dress
goodness.
and I was like, okay, whatever, I'll just pick one.
Yeah.
And I auto-filled all my information and I actually got a reservation first time trying for the last few weeks. This
Mm-hmm.
is the first time I actually got this screen.
Right.
Oh,
And
awesome.
so, yeah, the same thing happened to me. I refreshed, didn't see the live. I figured that's just my computer, but I wasn't aiming for dress anyway. So it's very
Yeah.
interesting that it didn't show up for apparently everybody for like a couple of seconends. But those
Right.
couple of seconds weren't worth the risk.
That's what I was like, I don't want to waste time refreshing again.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go.
And that's the
Yeah.
other thing, like the lore around this particular episode was like, it's ending. Like the show is going to be different. If you want to
Yeah.
get in and see this era of the show, this might be your last opportunity.
Yeah.
And so I also got the reservation screen. This is what they showed me after, again, all year of off and on trying and failing to get through the screen. What would happen most of the time is I'd get all my information in. I didn't think about the copy paste trick. I'm
I just did it this time. That was the first time I tried it.
It's a good move. I'm saving that for September.
Innovation.
Exactly. What had happened before was I would submit all my stuff, I would hit go, and the go would just spin like it was loading forever and ever, and then 5-6 minutes goes by and it says it's full. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I did it as fast as I could. So this time, I finally get this screen. Caroline gets it too. We both reserved 2 tickets, and we're both like, oh my God, so I guess we'll just go with whoever has the lowest number, right? Whoever has the most recent number, ditch the rest. So then we wait. It's the longest wait of both of our lives, several hours it takes for SNL to finally send back this email. Now, I get this email. The first word is congratulations, and I say, thank you. And then I see big old number 202, and I go, cool. Where's my other one?
Yeah.
I somehow, don't know how, in the fever and flurry of clicking and boxes and things to check off, did not make the change from 1 ticket to 2 before I submitted my reservation.
Oh no.
So I said, oh, I have severely messed up. And Caroline did get 2 numbers. Her numbers were what, 267?
277 and 276.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And so I had the earlier number, but now I only have 1 slot. So Caroline, what, like, I first of all, now I'm apologizing to you as in person as we can possibly get. I was horrified, like sick to my stomach that I had done this. I don't know how to this day. But so then your thought process was what from this point?
Well, while we were waiting for this email to come, after we both got our reservations and we were waiting for our actual numbers, we were talking and I was like, well, I think I probably won't come if the number's really high. Like if we get like 280, I'm not going to come because I have to fly from Iowa to get there. Yeah. And so it's like, okay, is this number worth dropping everything and buying a plane ticket tonight?
Yeah.
And calling in sick the next day. So I would joke, I was like, yeah, if it's 280, I'm not going to do it. And then obviously that was basically the number that I got.
Dead on, yeah.
Yeah. So that was like, well, okay, we'll see what Kirby got. And you got 202. And I think even if you had gotten 2 numbers, 202, 201 or whatever, I don't think I wasn't going to fly out anyway.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, this is the finale of the 50th season. Everybody who can go is going to be in that line.
Yeah.
Like they're not going to take many standby spots. Like I was like, it's not going to happen. I probably only would have flown out for something like under 120.
Right.
Just based on what I've seen online and everything. So No hard feelings. We're all good.
Well, good. And based on how in demand, like you said, this whole episode was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. So then I have a reservation. I'm going alone, which I hate to do, by the way. I hate to appear in public by myself, but again, it is the last time. I simply must. So then Friday afternoon around 5:30, I arrive in my spot at the grand old standby line. This is stuff Kate hasn't seen. This is all just new. She's like,
this is crazy. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, I didn't know this is how the process works. I'm like, this is madness.
Yeah, it is a flurry. And what's crazy is it used to be worse, like much worse. There was no preliminary option to like reserve a spot in line.
Okay, that's what I had heard about.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's how it was. So spoiler alert, you did get to attend an episode in season 45, right?
Yeah. Yes, 45 or 46. I'd have to check.
Yeah, so this was a COVID precaution, I think. It started as that, where they were trying to keep less people around. Because in 2019, that was when you went, was Thanksgiving 2019.
Yeah.
That same year, I remember going on a run for work, and not an errand, going on an errand for work, and work was not making me run. And I had to go by 30 Rock or near it. It was the week that Harry Styles was the host of Musical Guest. I was walking around in near Rockefeller Center on a Wednesday, folks. A Wednesday. That line was wrapped around 3 separate buildings on the premises. Air mattresses, tents, chairs, like people, coolers. People had come to stay. Just for a glimmer of a chance to see Harry Styles be the host of Musical Guest. That I would have never been able to do. No. Not for anyone would I be willing to do something like that. Sorry. So honestly, as frustrating as this whole standby line and hovering over the refresh button at Thursday at 10 a.m. is, it's like, at least it's for sure my only chance. I'm sure, Caroline, you probably wouldn't do that bullshit either.
No, I love this show. It's deeply important to me. I'm not camping out on the street.
Right.
For like a full day.
Yeah. And it's not a I don't think that's a reflection of how the lengths we would go to for the show. It's like, I'm not so down to like battle a bunch of tweens for the chance to that's just not it's not how I'm going to spend an entire week of my life. 6 hours on the side of the road while I watch the Knicks Celtics game, like, sure, I'm down with that. I can find something to do. But yeah, so as stressful and as crazy as it is, it's kind of it's kind of like the lay person's only way in. So I, as flawed as the system is, if this is how it has to be, I do appreciate the reservation thing. As nice as it would be to be in the lottery life, like Kate Konieczny over here. No offense.
The luxury.
There's definitely an upper class, lower class system going on here.
Honestly, I'm like, whoa.
You people live
doing
like
that
this?
in the winter too. Like, that's brutal for people. In the summer also. The summer is brutal as well. It's so humid.
I lucked out. Like, it was rainy that day, but like we did get a bit of a break for it. Sorry, I'm turning down my air. I'm getting so heated about the standby line. But as I guess I have a slide. They put up tents for the standby line, which I've definitely never seen. The Harry Styles, poor mother, did not get any sort of like head cover.
They want them to suffer for it, so they really mean it.
And that's kind of where I thought SNL would be. Like, they're not going to provide like shelter. That's not what this is about, man. It's about showing your love. And so anyway, yeah, they did ultimately like set up these tents. I was like, oh, thanks.
That's
It was
awesome.
it was kind of a comfortable experience. I came
Yeah.
armed with a Tupperware full of grapes, a couple of granola bars, and this
Nice.
$9.99 foldable chair that they do
So smart.
allow, folks. We had to read the fine
Nice.
print pretty closely when Caroline and I got that email. But the only thing they don't want you to do if you're watching this for like advice is recline. They don't want you to take up a bunch of space that's, pretty finite to try to fit 300 people between the barricades. But something like this, A, works just fine, and B, is really all you need. Like, you're not out there long enough to want to take a nap. So, now I'm settled. Everything's good. They put us very roughly in our spots, but everybody kind of everybody in the line is cool about it. No one is going to try to like make a move. Also, like, if you don't have a reservation number, when you check in, like that first hour you're in line, there's pages coming by and, saying like, you gotta go. Or, oh, you're number 200. This area is back here. Oh, you're number 80. Come with me. Like they're kind of roughly sorting everyone out. And then once they tell you you're good, you can start setting up and it's time to camp. Again, it's not very lively. I had a couple of people in front of me who I didn't really talk to the first night. I ended up talking to a lot more on the Saturday portion of the line. They were wonderful. Sheridan and Taylor were fantastic. Sheridan had come in from Minnesota or Michigan. I get those states confused just by themselves. Much less, like, it's not because I forgot where she was from, it's just because I forgot what states those are. And
which one's which?
And Taylor had flown in from California. A big group of them had met online. We assume through something like Twitter, or I don't really know. I didn't ask about that. But they had all signed up to do this together and said, if we get a number, we go. If we don't, we stay. And they all got numbers. I think Sheridan and Taylor were the frontmost of that group, and then there were some people, a couple behind us, that had also managed to get standby numbers. I didn't meet them. I just hung out with the two right by me. So night goes by. We're just hanging. You are free to take bathroom breaks in the bathroom inside of Rockefeller Center. Oh, they did eventually come around and give us these discount vouchers that were only good through Saturday night, so that you could go get some of the 50th anniversary merch at a discount, which they do for other shows too. Like I remember when I went to Seth Meyers, we also got the 10% discount, and I can't remember what I bought. But I bought something. Maybe I didn't buy something that time. I bought something with the discount from the SNL 50 experience. That was like an SNL 50 hoodie that I had, or sweater that I'd found. Anyway, they hand those out. I'm like, oh, cool, great. And then we sat. This is a picture I took on the way to the restroom. Clearly, I didn't even stop because you can see I'm walking very fast. I didn't want people to be like, he's taking a picture. So went inside, kind of got lost in the bowels. I had gone to a bathroom that wasn't actually open, and I was like, oh no, did I forget that the bathrooms closed earlier than I thought they did? I was just at the wrong bathrooms. If you go to the right bathrooms, they're open till 11, which is when the whole building closes down. Inside, when I was coming back, I saw this little like setup in one of the I mean, I don't even know what you call this, because it's not like it's a window display, but there's no room behind it, clearly. But anyway, I hadn't seen this, and I was just in 30 Rock for the SNL 50 experience in February. This was new. So it's just a little, like, I guess they have the cowbell up there. They have some props. The cue cards, obviously, which was from this season, maybe? Chords are hard, Devin, so I think let's extend the sunroom out on the porch. Devin, what are you doing here? Oh, no, that's a Californian sketch. That might be from the... who knows where that's from? honestly, because they didn't do a Californians for the 50th.
Yeah.
But anyway, that just caught my eye, and I was like, oh, look at that. That's cool. On my way back from seeing this, I head to the revolving doors to go back to my spot in line. Who's walking the other way? John Higgins and Ben Marshall. Coming back from God knows where.
No way.
Yep. And I was like, that's them. I didn't say anything. Terrified.
Yeah.
But that was for sure
Maybe
then.
like, yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Then the moment of truth, ladies and gentlemen, 12:01 rolls around.
Oh my goodness.
You get your card. If you stick it out, if you stick out the line, you get this blue card. Who knows what number you'll get? I'll reveal that in a moment. But I had kind of, I just judging visually by the line, I'm like, not everybody's here, right? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like there are some people that have bailed. I actually watched 2 people bail who had numbers 199 and 198 right in front of me.
Oh my goodness.
And they were there for about 30, 45 minutes and then like picked everything up and left. They didn't say anything.
Weird.
And normally, like, I guess it's just commonplace in the line. If you're using the restroom or something, you kind of go to the person next to you, hey, would you mind watching my stuff? And then everybody's cool about it. We're all trying to do the same thing here. But so I just assumed they were going to the restroom because like I was never gonna leave permanently. And then someone who I then met later on and was Taylor. Taylor had asked me, oh, did they go to the bathroom? And I was like, I think so. And then they never came back. I was like,
oh my goodness.
So weird.
Why even check in if you weren't going to make it an hour, dude? But crazy. But to each their own. I get it. Sometimes dinner sounds better than just sticking this out. I get it. So anyway, we receive our cards. I was 202 on the email. I ended up number 122 in line.
Whoa.
80 down, 122 to go, baby. That's all I needed to get in the room. So they put us, I wonder if I should put like a diagram together of how they distributed these lines because it was crazy. Numbers 1 through 50 lined up inside the NBC store in one section of like ropes. Numbers 51 through 100 lined up inside the NBC store on another section of ropes. Numbers 101 through 120 lined up behind the podium where we all checked in with the pages. And then numbers 121 and beyond lined up across the hall from that line. I was number 122, so I get put on the far wall, but I'm the only one there for kind of a while. Eventually, like you have to check in before, like it says on the thing here, no later than 6:30 p.m. I don't want to put anybody on blast. Let's just say numbers 121 and 120 checked in around 7:15. That didn't go over well with the rest of the people in my line.
Yeah.
Everybody, like, I heard someone actually yell, like, 6:30, 6:30. And honestly, they're kind of right. I understand a couple minutes leeway, but like, 7:15.
That's like almost an hour.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
So anyway, they let him stay, and they lined both of them up because they were together behind in the 101 through 120 line. So now that line is 101 through 121. We wait again. I'm shooting the with Sheridan and Taylor. Then Paige comes over to us and says, okay, what number is everybody here? And I'm like, 122, 123, 124, 125, 126. And she goes, you three, go ahead and come over here. Like, follow me over here. And we're like, okay. And so we're on the move, literally 150 people standing in that hallway watching our every step going like, where are they going? Why are they being singled out? Why are they being moved? The second that me, Sheridan, and Taylor get moved to the 101 line, the pages turn to the people from the line we were just at and say, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so sorry, but we are not going to have any room for you today. You are free to go ahead and go. me,
Oh
me,
my
Sheridan,
God.
and Taylor were like, "Oh my God, we just barely missed the guillotine. How?" And that was intense. Now, I do remember I'd gone to see a taping of Fallon way back in the day doing the standby process for that. This was 2015, and I do remember that happening. They made one big cut first before we went inside. But I was like, I mean, our hopes are still alive right now, you know? They file 1 through 50 first, then 51 through 100, back through this room. And honestly, I'm sitting there, we get moved through the line, and we're like 10 people to go through the door for security. And I'm just kind of like, they're probably going to cut us out here. I wouldn't blame them. Like, I just don't see this like working out, but I'm trying to stay positive and hopeful. I'm like, I will not leave until they tell me to, but I do kind of see the writing on the wall here. Sure enough, like, it gets to us three in the back of the line, and they're like, okay, right through there. And it was a metal detector. You go through security, and then you are in the, if anybody's ever seen a taping at 30 Rock before, there's that audience holding area where for every audience is like the final waiting room before you get taken up to the studios. It's a big circular, like, brass, and there's screens on the side for the show you're about to watch. It's very beautiful. That was what you see displayed here. This was like 2 seconds before the like security guy was like, okay, time to turn off your phones. So I managed to get one picture before we could not do anymore. They start slowly taking 6 at a time through the elevator and up into Studio 8H. The room is thinning out. Things are getting exciting. Where the three of us in the back are going like, oh, it's almost like, what the f- is going on? They check the cards several times because they're trying to make sure everyone's staying in order. And then one of the guys, I believe his name was Danny. One of the pages checks my card. I look down. He's wearing a gator pin.
Aww.
I was like, did you go to Florida? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, me too. And he's like, what?
Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah, that was wild. So go Gators. The Gator Nation is truly everywhere. I wasn't thinking in the moment because, again, we were like 8 people from the door at this point. So I was like just stressed. But my first thought was like, oh my God, he's working in TV. We probably had the same major. I probably know a lot of it. Like, I should have gotten more specific about, like, I'm not just some rando going go Gators. Like, we are in the same circles here. But anyway, didn't say anything. Danny, sup? How you doing? So again, they're taking about 6 at a time. Things are whittling down. The next elevator they take one person. And I'm like, okay, not a great sign, but like maybe someone's overlooking an entire row back there and then they're just going to take us all, whatever. And so I'm about 7 people from the door when they get the magic text and they say exactly what they told the people that they cut outside, which was, thank you guys so much for being here, and we hope you try again next season. And that was it. I went home.
Oh my gosh.
And I was very down the rest of that evening. I was like, how the did we get that close? But then I watched the episode and I was like, okay, maybe I didn't miss the boat on this entire era. Like, maybe we're continuing. So I feel better about it now, despite the word on the board back there, than I did that night, for sure. But it wasn't meant to be. And to be clear, I had applied for the dress rehearsal, not the live show. So I would have gotten the so I did make it home in time to see the full show, which helped. And that is my my tales from the crypt. But
Oh my
Kate,
gosh.
yeah, any
Dude, it's like a war story.
it was
Yeah.
it was
my
rough.
God.
It was a rough thing, but like I swapped numbers with Sheridan. Taylor added me on LinkedIn, so
Beautiful.
like hopefully we'll stay in touch and try again sometime. But
Yeah.
that's the standby experience, Kate. That's all the fun that you missed. You could try it again anytime you like. I'm always here.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm now kind of wondering. I'm like, well, maybe for the experience, it could be fun if it was someone I was like really excited about.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's like you're saying, Caroline. It's like you have to commit to being like, okay, tomorrow I'm like dropping my life and going
Yeah.
across the country.
Yeah.
So
For like the last like 2 months of the season, I was just like kind of like, okay, well, tomorrow I might have to fly to New York.
yeah, you're like kind of doing like the Harry coworkers, like maybe I'm sick, cough, cough,
Yeah,
like every Thursday night
exactly.
thing.
Uh, gotta
Yikes.
change the humidifier every Thursday if that's what's
Yeah,
something's getting to you every
exactly.
Thursday morning. Um,
Technology pill.
yeah. Oh my gosh. But again, honestly, like great experience. It always is. Like when you do these standby lines, there is nothing to do except wait around. So naturally, you start talking to people. Where are you from? How'd you get here?
Yeah.
What are you doing? When did you start watching the show? Like you
Hmm.
do have something in common by being enough of a fan to figure yourself out to get to this point.
Yeah.
So it's, it was fun. It was very interesting. And what's cool about it is Sheridan's finishing up college for,
Oh,
like,
awesome.
I think she's in a film program specifically,
Him.
but when she heard I was an editor, she's like, I need it all. Tell me your stories. How'd you get here? What are you doing? Like, what was your path? And so,
Oh,
like,
that's
I got to
great.
share a bunch of stories with her, and there's like, plenty of networking to be done at these
Yeah.
things. So even if you go alone, if you're like me and you're like, I don't really do that, eventually it's natural. You're going to start talking to the people around you. And I think
Yeah.
the people that do it all the time, go through the standby experience a lot, that's something that they value in this whole process too,
Hmm.
is hanging out, meeting other people who have similar interests.
Hmm.
I will say it was funny because for a while there, I was kind of the spokesperson of the standby line. I don't know how people kept coming to me specifically to be like, "What's going on here?" Like, well, look at the
This is Saturday Night
barricade.
Live.
But I had one guy come up and he was like, "How'd you do it?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I do this line every week. I go every single chance I get. I was not able to get this one. I don't know how you did it." And I was
Wow.
like, I don't either. I
I
tried.
don't know how we both got reservations for this one specifically
Yeah,
and not
Yeah.
the like Walton Goggins episode.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
It's super weird. But I told him, I was like, I legitimately don't know. Like, I have tried as often as I could all year. I get the same result. I get locked out. I take too
Hmm.
long, and then and this time, and which is crazy because like I also have a short name, a shorter than
Hmm.
most name, Caroline. That's probably the difference between my 202 and your 272 is
hmm
the number of
Hmm.
characters in our name. Like that's what
yeah.
could have come down to. Um, and it just worked this time. And he was like, I don't know. And I was like, me either. And then someone
Yeah.
else came by and she was like, I've been doing this for 40 years. I've been doing this standby line and I couldn't get in tonight. I was like, oh my God. So, you know, that's the other cool part about like,
Yeah.
Fallon's one thing because pretty new show, at least definitely at the time in 2015 when I went. SNL, you have people passing by who have been watching this show and potentially
Hmm.
participating in the standby line since 1975. That will really you up if you think about that long enough.
Yeah.
Just how crazy that is. That like we this generation spanning phenomenon where like we can be in the same place at the same time, fans of the same show. Yeah, I don't know. There's something just wild about that. So it's a very cool
Yeah.
like interpersonal experience to get to do that. But Kate, excuse me, I want to know what it's like beyond this room. Like, I want to know what your lottery process was like. Obviously, there's less waiting around, I would imagine, I would hope. But okay, so take us from step one. You apply in August.
Yeah, well, so because the reason we applied, like my college roommates and I had all watched it, as you like know my roommates, we
Mhm.
would watch it together every single week, and so then after graduating, we were like, oh, like we should all see if we can like apply for lottery, and I doubt any of us are going to get in. And 2019, I believe, was the first year where when you entered the SNL lottery, you could also submit kind of like an essay of like why you deserve to go, essentially.
Mhm.
And I'm convinced that that might be like what got me in via lottery slash email entry,
Mhm.
because that was my first year teaching. And so I'm like a few weeks into my first year of teaching. I'm obviously already just dying and just like unwell. And so I'm essentially writing what is half a plea to SNL to like bring me joy. And then also I'm starting to draw the parallels between like SNL and being in a fourth grade classroom. And so I write this whole email to them, I send it off, and I'm like, well, that was a fun activity for a Saturday afternoon. There we go. And so, not thinking anything of it, just watching the season as it's going. And then early November, I get an email, like literally same style as what you get
Mhm.
for the standby tickets. And if you notice, like the title that it's coming from is all lowercase. The font is like weirdly bolded the entire time. Like I can send you also like I still have the screenshots. I found them the other day,
Yeah.
so I can send them to you. But I like looked at this and I was like, is this real? And I was like, I happened to be like on the phone with Lauren and I was like, I think I got SNL tickets,
To
but this could be a
clarify,
scam.
your roommate Lauren Robinoff,
Yes.
not Lorne Michaels, you were on the phone
No.
with. Okay, just
Actually, Lord Michaels is also on my short list. He's a
we
favorite,
catch up,
so yeah. Maybe that's how I got tickets.
Yeah. Come to think of it, yeah.
Yes. But yes, like we're on the phone, but I'm like, this just looks so sketchy. Like it says
It
like
really
it's like you have
does.
it looks so unreal. You're just like, there's no way. Like it has like a weird graphic at the top that's like SNL 45. But again, it just kind of looks like someone did this like in a weird paint browser or something like that. Like it just looks so informal and odd. And so you have, I think, 24 hours. They tell you like they tell you if you're in dress rehearsal or live show and which show it's going to be. I think we had a week and a half notice, and
Mhm.
they were like, "You have 24 hours to confirm, or you lose it." And the only confirmation you do is reply to an email and just say, "Yes, I'm going." Which again, I was like, "This feels like I'm not actually going to SNL."
Right.
Like this is so wacky. But so we end up like committing to the tickets. Lauren flies up from Florida to Boston the week of our show. She books some last minute tickets, and we take a little weekend trip down to New York together for it. And so ours was the Thanksgiving episode, I believe. I believe it was the weekend right before Thanksgiving,
Mhm.
with Will Ferrell as the host and King Princess as the musical guest.
Mhm.
And so then this is really where I feel like our experiences become so different. And
Yeah.
so just like you saw on there, it tells you like you need to be at dress rehearsal. For dress rehearsal, you need to be there by 6:30 if you are like a confirmed guest
Mhm.
of the show, you have to be there by 6:30. And so you go up to the lobby and everything, but you're kind of just like waiting around. You don't have anything except for literally an email. Like that's all you have is your proof. So again, the entire time I'm like, I feel like someone's going to say I'm like punked or I just got like scammed or something. And so you're just like waiting for a really long time in that space that you showed where there's all the images and
Mhm.
everything. And so it's really beautiful and cool to, um, yeah, so that room, we're kind of standing there. It's very awesome. But again, you don't have a ticket yet. You have no confirmation that anything's actually
So
happening.
you've made it all the
Um,
way up here to this like audience holding lobby, and you haven't been given anything.
you're literally all you show them is your phone. So at that point, you're like, I assume this is okay,
Right.
but like again, there's just kind of this like sense, and they like check your name on the list. But again, like the entire time, we've seen how informal this email is. And so I'm just like, I'm still just feeling like really sketched out by this. Like, I don't know that
Yeah.
this is lit. Like, right? Like, you're just like, that's so weird. At some point during this process, though, of us just like being in that holding area, they gave us our tickets, which I'll show you the picture. It's,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, very similar to what you saw, just a bigger
Yep.
version. And I don't remember if they had numbers on it. Let me see. I could probably find it.
Mm-hmm.
They might have had numbers saying like which person we were within the category, within the ticketed guest, because there was some reason that they knew. Oh yeah, I found it.
I know for Seth Meyers, this could be the same or different, I don't know, but for Seth Meyers, it was weird. It was like every party had a letter. So it was like, and it wasn't like the first 6 people are all A. It was like literally your party is A. The next party is B.
Is B.
I don't know if it was something like that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Let me see if the like ticket says anything. I don't think it does. So I mean, I'll send you these actual like pictures later. But you
Yeah.
can see here, it's literally just like it's just purple. And I
Right.
think they had an envelope that had our name on it, but I feel like it was just purple.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember if it actually had any indicator of like how like who we were or
So
anything.
at
It was
that
so
point,
weird.
what did everyone have different colors? Are they like sorting everybody?
I don't remember everyone having different colors
Yeah.
either, which is the interesting part. Maybe we did, like maybe there was like purple and yellow or something like that. I'm not sure how they sorted us, because there was some way that once they gave us the tickets, they did start sorting us. And like you said, they start bringing you through the elevator up to Studio 8H.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, if you're in the first group to be called, you're going to be sat on the floor, and then you're being sat up slowly, like in the upper levels.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember anymore how they set that up for us. They must have had some process. I'm sure someone who's done it more recently would remember.
And who knows
But
how
yeah,
much it's changed even in the last 6 years, you know.
exactly, because this is pre-COVID as
Mm-hmm.
well. So it's like it was kind of just a different era, and yeah. So, but they did the process of kind of bringing everyone to the elevator. At no point did I really see people from the standby line that I remember. I think what they until we were sat. Like once they had us in our seats, everyone has been confirmed as having arrived and seated who has a dress rehearsal ticket confirmed. At that point, there's like groups and groups of standby guests being brought in, like you said, kind of in these like larger groups of like 6 to 12 people at a time. But yeah, I don't remember if how they like set up how we got in our specific seat, but we were upper level towards the right side. So a really good view, but it was interesting. So it was like you said, you're even in such a short line like that, where we're just kind of standing as they were right here with all the people against the wall. We're still talking to the people around us, just like, oh, how long have you watched the show? Things like that. And so there's a couple in front of us who's like, oh, we've been applying for tickets for 15 years and we finally got it. So it's like so sweet to get to, it's just seeing that and seeing their experience. But yeah, it was definitely a very different process, much more efficient, I think, of course, for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just, I'm just the one part that I'm like still murky with was how they seated us. Like, how did they decide that? And then also just the process of like finding out you have tickets. Like, I don't know what I expected. I just expected maybe like something more formal than what happened.
Even like a QR code, something to some kind of something that looks like it wasn't
survey link.
Yeah, something that looks like it wasn't styled in like 1995, which it probably was, you know.
I don't think they've changed it. I think it's like the OG email they've been sending forever, and they changed it from year to year. So like, because that, I mean, honestly, I was kind of thinking about it when because you and I were talking a lot about, you're like, how many people do you think actually confirm their tickets and show up and things like that? And I was like, man, if you only have 24 hours and you don't check your email all the time, you miss your window. If you're like me and you see that email and you live really far away and you're like, this seems sketchy and not real, you're not going to come. There's like so many different stopping points, I think, I was lucky because it was like I lived in Boston, so it's like driving to New York for a weekend. If it's all fake, what a good story.
And you
But it's
at least you
like
saw me, right?
exactly right. Yeah,
We
like
we
literally,
got
like we got
dinner.
to see you.
Yeah.
And so it's just like one of those things. But yeah, and now I'm kind of like I can't now I recognize I'm like I can't really ever apply again because I don't think I would get
Yeah.
it. So I'm like I think I had my one time. But it was really special, like getting to see Will Ferrell because I feel like
Oh
he's
my
just
God.
such an
That's such
icon
a
just
good
across
show.
I
everything. Such a
know.
good show. He's so goofy. I also just didn't realize he's so tall. Like I was even up like at the top and I was like, oh my gosh, this man is massive.
Yeah.
So that was just really, really special. And that was also heading into an election season.
Oh yeah.
So the cold open was kind of one of those classic like presidential debate like cold opens. I think it was like
A
all
lot
the
of
Democratic
cameos.
nominees, and so
Yep.
that was just like yeah, a lot of cameos. I think like Maya Rudolph was there. Just
Hmm.
a lot of really good guests, and I think definitely like one of those ultimate highlights where I was like, wow, thank you so much for helping me survive
Glad I
SNL.
wasn't
Like
scammed, like sick.
literally, I sometimes I like look back at that email that they sent me and I'm like, because I'm like, no, I'm being dramatic. Like
Yeah.
it must have been more formal than I remember. And then I look at it, I'm like, no, that's like weird.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so,
Worth checking into for sure. Yeah, but
yeah.
I think that's where a lot of people, ultimately, like Caroline, you definitely made the right decision. This was a weird episode. It was a
Hmm.
very in-demand episode, but for the
Hmm.
most part, if it's just a random run-of-the-mill, if you do the standby option, like people were saying behind me, there was a couple of guys behind me who had done it several times before too, and they were like, we've been here a bunch of times where all 300 standby, like all of the 300 reserved people do
Hmm.
ultimately get in. And even for such a high demand show like this season finale with all the lore around it,
Hmm.
80 people in front of me bailed on even showing up to the line, and
Hmm.
115 ticketed people bailed on show day. So you, like you were saying, Kate, like you
Yeah.
don't know the circumstances that people are under where like they're either missing this email entirely
Hmm.
or they're unavailable, they can't make the flight. It's just, it's worth it for the experience. I think.
Yeah.
It was a wild ride. Another fun note about Kate's particular dress rehearsal. So not the live show. Kate went to the dress rehearsal,
Yes.
but one of the most famous cut for time sketches of the last 10 years comes from the Will Ferrell
That's,
episode. It's the High School Musical cast
yep.
list. So somewhere in there, listen close, because that particular recording has Kate laughing in the background, laughing in the
Yep. You'll hear my
rafters.
cackle.
Yep, yep. Which is every time that sketch comes up on YouTube, I'm like, Kate was there.
That's
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
It was so awesome. And it was fun 'cause it's even being in the dress rehearsal, you end up having enough time if you're close enough by to
Hmm.
get back and watch the live show. So
Exactly.
we liked being able to we watched that episode, like obviously in dress rehearsal,
Hmm.
and then immediately we go back and we're like, okay, what did they cut?
Yeah,
Like,
catch all the
what's not
changes,
being,
spot the
Yeah.
difference.
yeah,
What's
yeah.
funny?
And now
Yeah,
I'm
what's
good,
funny
but
is if I had made it into the Scarlett Johansson episode,
hmm.
there's this cut for time sketch that made it to YouTube from that episode too, so we could have
Hmm.
been cut for time buddies, but
Literally,
7 away. 7 away.
yeah,
Okay, so
so
you glossed
crazy.
over a few things, Kate. Not to not
Help
to
me
dunk
out.
on you, but tell us about the walk from the elevator to the studio. What are you seeing? What are you looking at? What's going on around you?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know if I remember anymore. 'Cause as you mentioned, it's like you can't have your phone with you at this
Right.
point. Like once you're there, like your phone is put away or you're out. Like
Yep.
no ifs, ands, or buts. I want to say there was actually maybe like photographs of cast members and stuff throughout the walls or something like that. Like I think that might
Yeah.
have been what we were seeing.
Probably. I'm thinking we walked
Sounds
down the
right.
same hallway just because Seth and
Yeah.
SNL are on the same floor but
Yep.
opposite sides. Because I saw the Seth taping. I obviously didn't make it up to the
Hmm.
SNL studio. But so you're being brought in like probably like what, one at a time into the studio, or are they kind of they're just saying go go go? Don't stop till you sit down.
They're not quite that patient with the process.
Yeah.
They're not bringing in like a huge horde of people by any means.
Right.
I think those kind of like several person groups that you're seeing kind of all throughout the process, that's how they're seating you. So that's kind of the group you're moving along with. So you have time to kind of walk slowly, but they are like, okay, like we're moving, like we have places to be, and getting you seated. But it's always in smaller groups, and those kind of file you in slowly throughout the process.
Gotcha. And then so you got to witness like a traditional warm-up. You got to witness like a probably half-hour weekend update. I've heard that tends to happen. What were you going to say about the warm-up?
Yeah, well, the warm up is just like it's so special because I honestly had not really seen anything about it before. Like I'd heard like, oh, the warm up is like Keenan and a few of like the female cast members typically, and it was just like so special because it's it really does liven up the audience so much. Because you're all kind of sitting there a little bit antsy and nervous and excited, but it just like lightens the mood of everything as well. Which is really fun. It was just like a really cool way to start the show. Weekend Update, I do remember being really long. They definitely cut the things that like people don't laugh as much at. I think things that maybe people are like, oh, like I don't think they necessarily cut those. I feel like that's Michael Che's kind of whole shtick right now.
Yep, for sure.
And Colin's like, now Colin's a little bit more the same, but I think Che has always been a bit more edgy.
Yeah.
So yeah, very long Weekend Update. I think it was the most impressive thing to me about the whole process, and I think they gave us some more look into that this season with some, especially on that like anniversary episode, just the process and the speed with which everything is happening. So it's like seeing the setup of the 3 stages and how they're actually utilizing all these spaces at the same time. So as much as you're kind of watching the act that's currently happening, you're also so interested in seeing like how are they setting up for the next thing. And like I see this random pilgrim setup, so I'm like, what the hell's about to happen?
Yeah, what's
here?
coming?
Like, and so you can kind of wonder, like you see, like as the sets are changing and stuff. So that was cool. I never realized Weekend Update was filmed right in front of the stage. Like that was something I thought they had their own stage. Like so it's like things that maybe if I was a more attuned SNL viewer or had like done more deep dives into it, I probably would have known it. But like being there with a little bit of like blindness to it all, it was just like, this is so cool. And I've never been a part of live TV, so it's just like very fun to see all of that.
That's awesome. Was there a sketch that played facing away from you? Because I see that sometimes when they cut into commercial and show like the live view of them setting up the next sketch, they'll be like, there's a sketch that's happening completely out of view because it's happening in front of and below a whole chunk of the audience. Was there one like that?
No, I was really fortunate because I can see those exact spots you're talking about. So like if you have your kind of like, I don't know, U-shaped audience, that far right side, we were just barely like right here, like the in between like the far right and the middle. And so it ended up being like actually a really good seat because we could see everything. Some of it was like a slightly weird angle, like the Cut for Time high school cast one. That was that kind of like a funny angle for us where we're kind of like turning our head to like look at everyone, but nothing where I fully couldn't see what was happening.
I'm so jealous that you got to go. That's so amazing.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's like it didn't even ever occur to me to try to get tickets until like this year.
Right.
Like I guess I just like always was like, oh, I think because I was thinking of the old Standby where people would camp out for days, and I was like, oh, I'm not doing that. So it was like never even like occurred to me that I was like, oh, I should like put in for the lottery or I should try to get Standby. It's just like it just never occurred to me.
I think I would have been in the same boat had I not moved here.
Yeah.
Since I moved here, and like it was after I moved, it was still August, and I was like, I'm here now. I should just apply and see what happens. But I didn't do the Standby. Like the only time I considered doing the Standby, the episode that Gerard Carmichael hosted in season 47. this is the only time I've ever seen this happen. They got on the show account, got on Twitter and said, we still have standby tickets left for this show. So if you want them, a staff member of ours is standing here. And I was like, they're out of people? That's still
crazy.
like boggled my mind.
Yeah.
I've never seen that happen before or since. And I had a thought. It was like 9:30 on a Friday, and I was like, or no, it was pretty late. It was like a 9:30, 10 o'clock on a Friday. And I had the thought of like, am I about to drop everything and go to 30 Rock to try to get a ticket? And ultimately I didn't do it because I live like 50 minutes from 30 Rock and probably longer that late at night. So I was just like, but that has perplexed me ever since. I was like, what happened? Was there an issue with the standby process that day? Was there like was there like a VIP that dropped? Like I couldn't and still have not figured out what happened in that moment. But yeah, I've never seen that happen before or since. And honestly, like kind of a dunk on Gerard Carmichael. Like
that's sad.
That ended up being a great episode too. So I was like, God, should I have just gone? Like, I don't know. These kinds of like stories are obviously just fascinating because this process is so difficult, probably intentionally. Like the demand is high, so you have to, by luck or by jumping through all of the assigned hoops, you got to get there, right?
Exactly.
So this was a wonderful breakdown, and Caroline, we're not stopping. We're picking right back up in September, so just be ready.
We're gonna both put in for the lottery, and then we'll be there at the standby link every week.
Every week, not forgetting anymore. This wonderful. Well, now we have our segment. We got to get Kate out of here. So Kate, I think you're gonna go first. I have to. Nobody look. Everyone turn away, and then this is supposed to be a surprise. Okay, and then okay. Now we have our favorite segment on this show. It's where we finally stop talking about SNL. We are multifaceted folks, people. We watch other things. We consume other media. That's not SNL or Las Culturistas, right, Caroline? Up top.
Right.
So we have this segment. It's called In Other Media, and Kate is going to participate with us this time. And then, Kate, once you talk about this, you're free to go because I know you got to get some work done today. So, Kate is going first. Kate, what television program would you like to discuss?
Okay. I just started watching it for the first time, years late to this. I'm finally watching Love on the Spectrum. Started at season 3, did not even like dive into seasons 1 and 2. And I think this is like, okay, one, background. I've worked with like teens with autism for like years. So it's like very closely related to my own like personal interests and things that I do. And I just never like, I don't know why. I never watched it. But we started watching it this week, and I just like love it so much. I cried so many times. Like, this is so wonderful and like special to see. Just like really heartwarming and sweet, and it makes me so emotional. And they're so wholesome. Their families are just awesome, and so it's really been bringing me a lot of joyful tears.
How is this structured? Because I haven't seen it either. Mm-hmm. I assume there are a couple of seasons down on this, right? Like maybe 3 or 4.
I think they might be on their 3rd season right now, or maybe the 4th. But definitely at least 2 seasons complete. Mm-hmm. The structure of it. And I might be misunderstanding. Like, again, I just hopped in on season 3. Mm-hmm. My understanding is there's these families and their adult children with autism, and will decide to like submit to be on the show. Mm. And there's like the show producer named Kian. I don't know how he's involved with all this, but somehow he's kind of the person that all of the autistic adults are like speaking with and like sharing like what they're looking for in their partner. And then he helps connect them usually with like other people with autism, kind of within like a certain distance of them. And that's my understanding of it. But it's
Okay.
also interesting. Like one guy's in Boston, he's like speed dating, like with like in a like just normal neurotypical speed dating setting. And so it's like really interesting to see that too. But yeah, the setup is like they try and essentially do more or less like blind dates, I think,
Okay.
with these people who they think are similar to them. So it's been really interesting. It's like a really, it's just, I don't know, it's just wholesome.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
love that.
you
That's
guys.
and so it's about 3 years old now. You're just discovering it and like you're hooked. I looked it up and like this is an Emmy-winning program. Did you know that? I didn't even know that until I was looking it up.
People are obsessed. Like, I don't know if you watch it, Caroline, like, I feel like people love this show.
I haven't watched it. I see clips from it like a lot, but yeah, people are like, they love it so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It won,
It's crazy.
It won outstanding directing for a reality program in 2024 or something like that, like this past season. Yeah, like and multiple others, but that was the one that stuck out to me. I was like, interesting. So clearly they're doing something well in like you're talking about the setting them up with partners and very interesting.
And it's like it's really impressive how well they're like weaving it together because essentially it is covering from like Los Angeles to Boston to Atlanta to like it is all over the country and they're weaving all of these different stories together really well. So yeah, it's just like really interesting and all of the people, of course, like all these like main cast members, I guess, like they all have autism, but they all present really different, which I think is really interesting as well, as they didn't kind of follow one typical representation or presentation of autism. So it's just been it's honestly it's like so well done. Like I'm just so impressed. It's like the perfect amount of sharing like hardships that the families go through as well. And like the hardships that the people go through, but it's done like just really, really tenderly. But yeah, I don't know. I was the same. I was like, I'd only ever seen like tons of clips online. And I was like, oh, cute. And then we just sat and watched an episode and I was like, wait, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm addicted.
That's fantastic. To give that a whirl. Netflix, you said?
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Nice. All right. Well, Kate, I would love to talk about some other media with you, but I want to make sure you're making your work meeting. But thank you so much for being our first guest on the Corkboard Chronicle. Thank you for sharing your story about what it's like up in your tax bracket, if you will. It's just like, I'm man of the people. I sat on the street.
You don't know what it's like out here.
Yeah, exactly. But it's always lovely to see you, and maybe we can do it again sometime, because this is just a blast.
Hell yeah. I'm down. I'm always down. So
Awesome.
Mabel's sleeping right now.
Oh, Mabel. Wait, show us Mabel before we go. One hit of Mabel.
Yeah, that's the final.
Oh,
yay!
She's awake. We woke her up. Sorry.
But do not disturb her. Oh my God, look at her go. Look at her go. She's like, oh, look at that. Right back down. She swatted you away and then right back down.
And notice her paws are really far away from me this time. She's like, you're not getting near
exactly.
this.
Fool me once.
But, yeah, it's crazy. Well, thanks, guys.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you for coming. This is a blast. And enjoy your meeting and your run.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
All right, have fun.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Lovely. Kate is one of the greats, to be perfectly honest. She's just wonderful. Caroline, you're next. So tell us, what are you talking about today?
I am talking about, it's back, season 2 of Poker Face.
Poker Face.
On Peacock.
On Peacock. Peacock's own Poker Face.
My favorite streaming service.
Honestly, I'm getting there. I debated on putting an SNL logo on mine because I've been watching a lot of SNL reruns. It's bad.
Peacock having that SNL like channel that's just constantly playing super random clips. Whoa.
Yeah.
That is like such a time filler for me.
Yeah.
I subscribed to Peacock the day it launched. Like I have been in on the ground floor, and like those first few shows they had, like R.I.P. none of them lasted. They were so good.
Not enough people were there yet.
Watch this Saved by the Bell reboot. I'm not joking. That show is so funny.
I've heard that. I have heard.
Well, it's a Tina Fey protege, Tracy Wigfield, like ran it. Mm-hmm. It's one of the funniest shows ever. It was ahead of its time.
Yeah, that's funny that you say that because I have heard the same exact thing, and I was like, never would have even known that the Saved by the Bell reboot was going to be actually worth the trip. But that's what I keep hearing.
It is so good.
Yeah.
Big recommend. But I am here to talk about a Peacock show that is not ahead of its time because I mean, I hope everybody's appreciating what they have in front of them as it airs.
Right.
Season 2 of the Natasha Lyonne murder mystery, if you could call it that. It's not really a mystery. It's not a whodunit necessarily, because you do know who did it right away. That's how the show opens.
Yeah.
But I just think it is so good. Like, I loved the first season. I've watched it a bunch. And it's just, have you seen it?
No, I've seen none of it. I've heard a lot about it, but yeah.
Basically, it's just like each episode, Natasha Lyonne's character is kind of just moving across the country, random town to random town, keeps encountering murders, and she has this like ability to know when people are lying.
Okay.
Like, it's not really explained like how she has it. It's not like a super, magic, whatever. It's just like she can just tell when people are lying.
Right.
So she keeps stumbling across these people who have just like freshly murdered someone for whatever reason, and then she kind of unravels it.
Right.
And yeah, it's just, I just love it. It's just each episode, it's kind of, there's a general like storyline throughout the season, but for the most part, it's just like she gets to a new town and there's like 4 actors that you're like, oh my God, I love them.
Right.
And they're all in this episode, and then they're just like doing some crazy shit, and then she moves on to the next town, and it's just a good time.
Yeah.
I just love it.
So it's more comedic in nature?
Oh, yeah.
Or
it's funny. I would call it a comedy, yeah.
Gotcha.
It's and she's just so cool. Like in this show specifically, she just is so cool. Just like I could watch her do it forever. It's the same guy that did Knives Out, so there's a little bit of that kind of vibe in it.
Interesting.
But yeah, I just love it.
I have heard good things, and I think because I'm on the Gemstones right now. I had to take a full week off of TV because I was doing a video for my cousin's graduation, so it was like editing at work and then editing at home, and I didn't watch any TV in that time. But it's Gemstones, and then I'm considering it because while the Peacock subscription's active, I might as well.
I mean, yeah, you should. It's really good. John Mulaney was just in an episode this season.
Whoa.
Ben Marshall was just in an episode from a couple weeks ago. Small part, but I mean, yeah, they're getting some insane guest stars.
Who's writing on that?
It's a good question. I haven't seen Fred Armisen yet. I assume that at some point we will.
You think he'll?
I think they're cool.
Okay,
I think like him and Natasha, I feel like I see them at stuff together. I feel like they're hanging out. He's married. I think she has a new person. So I think everything's cool.
Okay. All right. I do like a cordial,
Yeah, I think
nature.
It is cordial.
So Google obviously is broken. We all know this. Right now I'm looking at a list that Google has put together of writers for the television series Poker Face. Ryan Johnson is first. Great. Third down, S. Epatha Merkerson, who played like one of the chief of polices on Law and Order. I don't think she wrote.
Probably not a writer on the show.
Something tells me no.
I'm gonna go with
Simon Helberg is also listed
He's
as a
he's
writer.
in the show.
Okay.
He's fully in the show. He's
Jamila
an actor.
Jamil also listed as a
Also
writer.
an actor.
Yeah, so Google, let's clean this up a little bit. What do you say? Looking for a. I might
I'm
have to just
looking
look
at
it up later.
IMDb.
Okay.
A little more reliable.
Yeah, a
Let's
little bit.
see.
All
Ryan
cast and crew.
Johnson. Not really. No, I mean, Natasha Lyonne's credited as a writer.
Yeah.
I'm sure these people.
Oh, Megan Amram did
Megan
an episode.
Amram, yeah.
That's interesting because so many SNL people have shown up, and I get it's a Peacock show, so it's like all in the family kind of. But like Ben Marshall's a little bit of a deep cut.
It was a small part, but yeah, he was just like he was around.
Interesting.
The fun part was the John Mulaney episode also had Richard Kind in it.
Oh, perfect!
Because they're basically a package deal now.
Love that. That is. Look, again, we've talked about the show itself. Little strange. Honestly, I watched last night's episode live, and that one locked in for me. Like that one felt like it flowed nicely. It must have just taken a lot of time to get that rhythm down.
Right.
But yeah, oh my god, I love that John Mulaney and Richard Kind are just together now.
They're just buds. They were both in the episode. It was so funny. I was like,
yeah. The indoor boys version of Steve Martin and Martin Short is Richard Kind and John Mulaney.
Yeah,
that's how it's developing.
I think so.
That it does sound good. I will have to give this a shot. Like I said, post Gemstones.
Yeah, finish Gemstones.
I know. I need to go like quickly. Let me tell you, the season 2, like, conclusion of the Righteous Gemstones, that's the furthest that my jaw has dropped in quite some time.
I'm trying to remember what happens. I literally just rewatched the whole show.
So it's what I'm gonna say, I'm just gonna bleep for like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
It's when the
oh my god, yes. That whole like sequence at the end of that episode. Yes. Okay.
And then in the house with the reporter.
They're all blurring together.
Yeah.
But oh my god, yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, Jason Schwartzman, yeah.
Yeah. That blew me away.
Yeah.
And then how
crazy.
It ends with his
Yeah. Yeah.
All of that is going to be bleeped.
It's an incredible show. They're doing things that have never been done on TV.
No kidding. That's some gnarly too. Okay, there was one episode, this doesn't spoil anything, but it's when there's a character in the hospital and they come out and they're so overwhelmed with like emotion or whatever that somebody starts vomiting. And then somebody else, because they're vomiting, starts vomiting on top of that. And then it just turns into like 60 solid seconds of 4 characters unrelentingly vomiting. It's horrifying. But I was like, this is starting to round that corner from like, okay, stop, to I am actually laughing now.
Yeah.
It took me on a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm having a good time on Gemstones. Anything else on Poker Face?
No, just a big recommend.
Oh yeah, the cameos alone are like, you know.
That's kind of the fun part, is going in each episode being like, okay, who's in this episode?
Who am I gonna see?
Like in the opener of season 2, Cynthia Erivo is in it, and she plays like multiple characters.
Nice. That's fun.
It's a good time.
That's great. I will say another show I saw, I'm not going to highlight it because I don't really know how I feel about it, Overcompensating.
I watched that too.
Yeah, I would say it had some moments where it reminded me too much of the series I made in college. Not in plot, just in like maybe some writing that needed a little massaging.
Yeah.
But the plot, I think the plot is strong. Like how they're weaving all these different relationships together. I don't know how it ends. I haven't finished it yet. But I'm intrigued. And the scene with Matt Rogers and Bowen Yang when they walk on, that was a moment where I was like, what? And then they stole the show. It was fantastic.
Star of that show for me, hands down, Mary Beth Barone.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. I feel like Adam DeMarco is really killing it. And
yeah,
it might be because that's just who he is in life. I don't know the man, but also like he's damn funny. Like
he is funny, yeah.
delivering this right. It's really wild. And obviously just acting his ass off. It's great. And we see a lot of it. We see it often, in fact.
Yeah.
We see all of them quite a bit. All right, next. I'm talking about Survivor. We got big Survivor news. Something even Caroline might not know about me is that I have seen every season of Survivor. We used to watch it growing up, and then I kind of fell out of it. But then during the pandemic, Paramount Plus was in its early days. It was still CBS All Access then. And my parents and I were looking for something to watch. What luck. What luck that we had a show like Survivor, something everybody could agree upon every night of the week that never ended. I ended up watching from 2020 until I finally got like caught up to date in 2020, like mid 2022. I watched all 40 seasons of Survivor at the time. And then now there's 48. And the big news that's happening today, or that happened yesterday, is that they revealed the cast for season 50. Now, like with any show that has had 500 people play it, and now they're having to whittle it down to 24, there's controversy. There's a lot of people saying a lot of things about this person should have been there, this person shouldn't. The only thing I will say about that is that right now it's an even split. It's 12 people who initially played in seasons 1 through 40, and then 12 people that have played from seasons 42 to present. 41 didn't have anyone make it from that season,
represented.
Which is weird. There are some much better options that they looked over in 41. Listen to me, I'm doing it. But point is, like, the 50th season is starting to take shape. The legends that you think of didn't make this list. And honestly,
that's because they're all busy on Traders.
They're all busy on Traders, Deal or No Deal Island. You pick. But
Deal or No Deal Island.
Yeah, but 30
Rock joke.
Yeah, for sure. Boston Rob, Parvati Shallow. These more. They are considered the Survivor legends. Will not be a part of this season, and I feel nothing. It's nothing against them.
Weren't they just on it? Didn't they do like an All-Stars?
So they did the winners season in season 40.
But that's what I'm thinking of then.
Yeah, so it does make sense that they wouldn't. They did play relatively recently. It's just, I don't know. I haven't really sat with the announcement just yet. What I will say is there's 2 people from season 48, the season that just finished airing, because I didn't watch it live. I got behind, and then all of a sudden the season's over, and I'm like, well, But the episode I just watched this week, it was episode 4 of season 48. There's a duo in a tribe that pull off like one of the best moves I've ever seen in Survivor, and again, I've seen it all. Everything that's gone on Paramount Plus. And basically they managed, I'm not going to spoil it, but they managed to like turn this entire tribe around by putting on like an Oscar-winning performance about how much those two hated each other. Turns out they're working together the whole time.
Interesting. Okay.
It was very good, and like I don't know how they pulled it off, because people have tried way less and done way worse, and they nailed it. Both of those people, Kyle and Camilla, will be on season 50, and I think that is a good move, so that's something I can celebrate. Another thing I can celebrate is there was a man named Bhanu, Bhanu, who was a cast member in, I want to say, season 46. Yes, the spring of 2024 sounds right. This is a man who I think single-handedly embodied the worst of the 40s, because something happened with the show that got it very proud of itself about what it represented to people and the journeys that you can go on and you can find yourself on this show. And it attracted some people who really just needed to be sat down and taken to therapy. There's no other way to say it. It's like to the point where it's concerning. Obviously, anyone who like goes on reality TV probably needs a little bit of therapy. It wasn't fun to watch anymore. It got concerning. And this one guy was I would say the poster child for the 40s in that kind of player. And he did not make the list. But he was exactly the kind of cast member that I was worried they would want to bring back to have some sort of redemption, to keep talking about some nebulous journey, and they didn't do it. They didn't give in. And I thank Survivor for resisting the urge on that one. But other than that, like that's really what's on the mind, is that particular episode that I just watched this week of one of the, best moves I've seen. And then that Survivor 50 announcement. I mean, I feel like that's going to be a wild one. This is the biggest cast they've ever had for a season of Survivor, 24.
I think they should do 50. Or I guess it would be 49. No, right. Do 50. One person from each season and then one new person.
Yeah, just throw them in the mix. We don't know you yet, but here. That is kind of happening. They are bringing two people from season 49, which hasn't even aired.
So I was going to ask about 49, yeah. Since they've already announced 50, but 49 isn't out yet?
49 will air in the fall. 49 has probably already been shot. And the reason that they released the cast is because now they're starting they're starting to shoot season 50. So it's like, if they don't let it out, somebody will. It's going to be interesting to me how many days that they go with. Survivor was the 39-day competition for a long, long time. Until COVID, they cut it down to 26 for budgetary reasons and safety reasons. Like they couldn't stretch it as far, but they kept the 26. With 24 people, they are eliminating someone in theory almost every day, which is a lot.
I would think maybe they will go back to
39.
A slightly maybe not all the way back at 39, but you'd think they'd stretch it out a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, who knows? There's a lot of questions about season 50. I'm going to be excited when the time comes, but it's one of those things that's like, I'll see it when we get there. It's not quite like season 50 of SNL was for me, where I was like, what's going to happen? But Survivor 50 is going to be fun in the moment. Have you ever seen, have you ever sat down and watched a season of Survivor?
Not a season. So it's funny. The first time I went to visit Blake in Florida was March of 2020.
Classic.
And I got there, and her roommate were trying to watch, I don't know, every season, or just I think the winner's season was coming up, so they were trying to watch all the relevant seasons.
Yes. Right.
For that. So I did watch a little bit of it when I was there, but past that, it's never really been. I watched a little bit because a girl I went to high school with was on a couple seasons
42.
back.
Yep.
But I've never watched a full season.
Yeah. Tori is who you're referencing for fans of recent Survivor. Yeah, that was wild. That was so much fun when when Blake was like, "Wait, I know this girl."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
funny.
That was pretty crazy.
Yeah, I'm sure. So you did watch some of that one then.
I watched like bits and pieces,
Hmm.
but again, not like a full season.
Yeah.
Maybe not even like a full episode.
It's one of those things that, like, if you're into it, if it piques your interest even a little bit, there's definitely
Hmm.
like the best seasons that you could dive into.
Right. People always are like, "Oh, start with this one, you
Exactly.
know."
Right. And that is something I will credit to season 50. We have a cast member from season 1 and a cast member from season 2 coming back for season 50.
Mm.
That's going to be cool. I don't know how well they'll do. No, that's no offense to them. It's
Right.
just like
It's
what
just
happened. Yeah, what happened in the winners season was like it immediately divided between old school and new school.
yeah.
And the new schoolers who were used to the twists, used to the idols, cleaned house pretty
Right,
quickly.
it's not the same game as it was in the first season.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll be a thrill to see them again. A thrill. And I hope they don't get voted out first, because that's not fun, heartwarming
Yeah,
television.
no.
But it's going to be a really fun watch, and I'll probably be very into it when the time comes. You know what's funny though? If they hadn't taken off the COVID year,
Hmm.
the 2020-2021 season, they would be in season 50 right now. Survivor
When
and
was the
SNL.
first, I was gonna say, when was the first season of Survivor? It was
2000, the
like
summer of
2000.
2000. Mm-hmm.
So they're doing, as many seasons in about half the time.
Yeah, it's 2 a year, in
Yeah.
and out. But
Tell
yeah,
Lauren, we can do 2
we
SNL
could.
seasons a year.
Yeah, we could manage that. Just 13 episodes, twice a
Just,
year.
yeah, who needs seasons? Just every week.
You could do 13 straight with no weeks off,
People
right?
can come in and out as they want, cast wise.
Yeah.
Like it'll be like, oh, this Thursday we have a new cast member.
Yeah. It's an
Easy.
ever evolving, ever flowing
Yeah.
52 episodes a year. I love it.
I
Love
guess
the
we will
idea.
technically be getting 2 seasons a year once they start this British
Oh, yeah.
SNL that they're
Forgot about that.
allegedly making.
Right. Fall of
That
2026, we'll have 2
John
SNLs to
Oliver
watch.
John Oliver went on Seth Meyers and basically was like, I think it's a bad idea.
Which, he thinks everything's a bad idea. I say
Well,
let him go.
yeah.
Also, they're gonna ask John Oliver to host, right?
It'd be
Like,
crazy not to. He's one of the only like famous enough British comedians that like would get, I think, Americans to watch it. Because I
yeah,
think I don't know how they're gonna do it.
right. That's gonna be fascinating for sure.
I'm very interested to see if it's gonna be like really niche, like British people, or if it's gonna be like now there's just 2 SNLs you can host.
That might just develop into that, even if they set out to do it kind of
Right.
like keep it in house. It could just develop into like an SNL 1 and an SNL 2.
Summer season.
Yeah, I don't mind having 2 SNLs to watch a week.
Well, if it's a British show, there's only gonna be like 6 episodes a season.
Right, that's true. If they put it on Peacock.
That's the thing. Maybe it's gonna go on like Sky or whatever it
Right.
is that
I could
that doesn't
see.
let me watch Love Island.
Yeah, I could see the rights getting a little hairy, but I
But
hope
it
they
is
figure it out.
Lorne, so I think like Broadway Video is producing it, so
That could
we'll
help.
see.
That could help. I was going to talk about like John Oliver hosting SNL over there. First of all, I don't know if he would do it, but it had me thinking back in the day when the Colbert Report finished up.
Hmm.
I was sitting here thinking the whole season 40, which is when Stephen Colbert's Comedy Central show ended. It ended December 2014.
Hmm.
The whole season 40, I'm sitting here thinking, get Stephen Colbert to host an episode. He
It's kind of
would do
crazy that
it.
it's kind of crazy that he never has.
Yeah. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, he wasn't a really, really big celebrity until the Colbert Report started wrapping up. At that
Yeah.
point, and then now he gets tapped for the Late Show on CBS, and he has the entire spring of 2015 off.
Right. It's a what are we doing?
I don't understand how they didn't bring him back around, and maybe it was a contractual thing. I know, like, you know, it was more likely to see people cross over networks a long time ago than it is
Yeah.
now. But all I could think was like, okay, when is Stephen Colbert's invite coming? Because like, he's a writer. He was on a month of shows.
Yeah.
Back in like '96 or something like that. He wasn't a cast member, but he
Yeah.
would like show up in shorts. It seemed like a slam dunk, but just like Keke Palmer and Sabrina Carpenter, sometimes what's a slam dunk to me doesn't appear to be a slam dunk to most.
I guess.
What can you do? What can you do? One day.
Add that to the list of people who you're like, oh, they've never hosted?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Right. Who knows? I don't know if we'll get it now. Like, obviously
he's busy.
10 years older,
Yeah.
I
guess he's not really. I guess he's kind of a sketch.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
I would say that
he's not a stand-up.
He was more improv. He came up through the Second City. He and Tina Fey were probably there at the same time. But yeah, and then like the whole Dana Carvey show thing, which by the way, if you haven't seen that documentary, fantastic. But yeah, so he has that like sketch background, and then wrote for SNL for not long, but enough.
Well, and he's like friends with so many people that work there. That whole thing.
Yeah. So, oh well. Anything else, Caroline, on everything we've talked about tonight? This 2-hour episode. Oops.
I don't think so. I think it was a fun season.
Very fun
season 50.
And I, with your permission, I don't think we're quite done. I think we do need to do like an official final catch up on all our recaps that we've been skipping, and then we will put this thing to bed next time.
Official season 50 wrap up.
Exactly. Yep. So, all right. Well, I'll see you then. Have a lovely evening, and go Knicks, because they're playing right now and probably losing. Goodbye.